to you all, and shalom to those of you who are saints. I welcome you to this broadcast. As soon as you join, please indicate whether you can hear me clearly, and you can also see me clearly. What a day it was yesterday. I was notified of a broadcast, and live on this broadcast, or streaming live, it would have been Irfaan Ali, the man who's paid to be president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. And Irfaan on this broadcast was being himself. What is so important is that I have to speak to it. I cannot let 3 days go by without addressing this, because this is not just nationally an embarrassment, but internationally it's a disgrace. So please, if you can hear me clearly, I'm driving, I'm on the highway, so we know what happens to signals every so often. But I have to speak to this. I would not allow today to go by without my addressing this. If the broadcast is, the quality is poor, then we'll have to do it when I stop somewhere. But oh, we have to speak to this today. Tell me when the quality is good, please. Irfaan. Alright, once you give me the feedback, I'm good to go. Greetings. Is the quality fine? Can you hear me clearly? Can you see me clearly? I don't want to silence somebody says they can't hear me or they can't see. Alright, so it seems as if you can hear me. Good. Yesterday in Guyana, South America, was a day that history was made, on which history was made. Thank you, baby. And that day, yesterday, also marks a day in which, again I say, you need to be reminded of a prophetic word that was given to Irfaan Ali by me, of course, through the Spirit of Yahweh. I said to Irfaan a while ago that you will be embarrassed internationally. And the thing is, you believe that what you're doing is so good that you wouldn't recognize how embarrassed you are. Can anybody remember my saying that to Irfaan prophetically? That Yahweh will embarrass you so much so that in the midst of that shameful experience, you would not even recognize that you're embarrassing, you're being publicly disgraced and internationally disgraced. Yesterday is exactly another occasion in which Irfaan Ali felt that what he was doing was so significant, tremendous and great, not realizing he was embarrassing himself on an international scale because it was streamed live. He didn't even say, let's keep this private. You embarrassed yourself before the nation and before the world. While we on this, did anybody know that was Mike Pompeo and his son in the country yesterday? Did they meet with Barra Jagdeo? I mean, tell me if you were aware of that. Was Mike Pompeo here yesterday on a private mission or trip? You know what private trip means? That he wasn't sent by the US. That's what they claim. He just showed up. The same Pompeo who threatened sanctions and all of that. Was he here yesterday? Was he seen shaking Jagdeo's hand with the way was that State House or wherever they met? Office of the President? Oh, that was old news. Can you all help me here, please? because some of us seem to miss some very important things. Irfaan. Just when the world thinks that you cannot be worse, oh my goodness, just when people think that you cannot display anything worse than what you have. Okay, so for those of you who must be living on Mars or somewhere, Irfaan Ali held a meeting yesterday at 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 a.m. or 5:30 hours. Irfaan held a meeting. Good? Okay. I want you all to understand what's happening. And this meeting was one of historic proportions because it never happened. It has never happened on the Fox Burnham. They would not have a chance for it to happen on the Burnham. Never happened under Hoyt, never happened under Chetty Jagger, never happened under any president except Irfaan Ali. And can you imagine when the president decides to go live, pay to be president, go live, go make a live stream, and his ministers, which would be senators in the US and so on, parliamentarians, are brought there. And they are all, for the greater part, or most of them, publicly humiliated. Now, Priya, this is normal for you, right? So I don't think this is anything new for you. Based on reports, this is how Irfaan treated on a normal basis. Oh boy. So, what was done to Priya, as far as reports, is nothing new. Irfaan stood them up, lined them up, and publicly embarrassed cabinet members, publicly spoke to their incompetence. What I'm here to speak about are some very critical and salient points in this whole scenario. Number one, I'm on highway, so if I begin to lose signal, y'all don't kill me. It isn't my fault. Firstly, who is the minister, the cabinet member, paid over $1.6 or whatever million per month? Who is this person with the responsibility for public works? Can you all name the person? Who is the Minister of Works, or they call public works in Guyana? So all the works regarding contracts and so on, and people not doing what they're supposed to do. Who is the minister responsible for these things? And I remind you all again what I said, and it's on my, I don't say what I didn't say. It's on my page. You can check my page, you can see the record of what I said. Well, I'll go to that in a second. Who, give me the name of the person who is paid to be the minister responsible for public works? Trillions of dollars will be spent over years. Hundreds of billions of dollars will be spent in infrastructure. Who is responsible for ensuring that our money in reference to projects is properly spent? One Echel. Fine. Alright. You know what Ali called me yesterday? Bishop. You remember Ali called him that? Bishop, man. Bishop. Yeah, bad blood. Bishop Echel. Bishop, what makes you any bishop? For anybody to respect as a bishop, they have to have a mental disorder. Echel is responsible for public works. I want you all to get this clearly, please. Irfaan Ali wouldn't call Frank Anthony. I want you all to hear me clearly. And Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation and all the other people and say, y'all need to tell the whole country why so many billions of dollars of drugs would have been dumped because they expired. Do you think Irfaan did it to Frank Anthony? Y'all pay attention, please. Would Irfaan do that to Frank Anthony? To call Frank to explain to all of Guyana why you have billions of dollars in medications being dumped, can't use it. We pay for it, by the way. Taxpayers have paid for it. Would Irfaan drag Frank Anthony before the whole country and say, you? And now I do it, I bet he even think about doing it, but watch it. Let him try that. But Edgil, Mr. Bishop of the Jesus Church, is responsible for works all across this country. And if you don't know, the Ram Lal, he would have been responsible for development in all 10 regions. I tell you all that. Did you ever see Irfaan drag him before and tell him publicly what he told, how he dealt with them? No. But Edgil though, good. That's why I don't care about you. That's why you look for what you get. Edge boy got dragged in a most embarrassing and disgusting environment. Edgil had to stand there and be publicly humiliated. This highway is so rough, my camera can't even stay stable. I'm trying. Hold on a minute. Let me sort this out. Right. Irfaan publicly humiliated Edgil. Now let me share with you what issues we have to face here. I shared publicly, this is no secret, I shared this publicly, that one Edgil has got, now you could check, don't take my word for it, you could check his biography and check the record of Edgil's qualifications and match it up against what I'm going to say. Of all the certificates that Edgil claims to have or has, all, there is zero qualification in engineering, project management, GIS, which is Geographic Information System, which is how a program you use to lay out, see how cities should be laid out and so on, and track certain things. Edgil has zero certification in technical development, in technological field. Zero. Are you hearing me clearly? Of all the certificates that Edgil possesses, more than 20 of them, 10 of them, whatever number it is, Edgil has absolutely none in engineering, in project management, project planning, or any field that's technically in its orientation. Are you hearing me clearly? The person that Jagdeo put there, and it says Irfaan put him, to serve as Minister responsible for Public Works, where the most money is spent in all of Guyana. The bulk of our money goes to infrastructure according to the PPP system here, because that's where you can thief. Edgil is put to be responsible for works. Now Patterson is a million times more qualified than Edgil, and they want to talk about David Patterson from AFC, who was Minister of Works on the growing job. Patterson Patterson is highly qualified to do what he did. Edgil took a position and was given a position for which he is totally unqualified. Priya Manichan has never taught for 20 seconds in a classroom. And Priya is Minister of Education. Y'all getting the point yet? Priya has never lectured at the college. Priya never lectured at a university. Priya has never, as in never ever, taught. But Priya is responsible for teaching in this country, in education in this country. Y'all get the point, right? You get the point yet? So, Edgil is made Minister of Public Works. And then Ali drags Public Works. Ali dragged Public Works. Which would be all the roads, all the contracts, and Ali say, y'all come here. Ministries and so on. Whoever is 4 months behind, and whoever work is stalled for more than 4 months, come and answer me. Brothers and sisters, enemies and friends, PPP lackeys, cronies, and butt lickers, let me make this clear to you. The reason why Ali did that is because he knows very well that you have Edgil as minister. And Edgil is totally unqualified. Totally. If Edgil were to be interviewed for that position, and they were to ask him to bring his resume, bring his curriculum vitae, and show us what qualifies you for this position, Edgil would not even be considered. Edgil doesn't meet the basic requirement for being called Minister of Public Works. But yet the PPP put this man up. Shalom, shalom. The PPP took him and put him there to be responsible for works, highways being built, schools being built, roadways being constructed, canals, bridges being built. You put a man there so Edgil could show up on a site, and Edgil has absolutely no clue about PSI, no clue about if a truck or a road is going to be built to accommodate heavy duty equipment like trucks running it all day. You can't have 4 inches of asphalt. Edgil is so dunce when it comes to engineering that he can't know that. Edgil doesn't know that the subsurface of any road that carries heavy equipment must be at least 8 to 12 inches thick of reinforced concrete with 1-inch rebars inside. Edgil is 2 dunce or 3/4 to 1-inch rebar. Edgil can't know that. And the PPP took this man and said, you're the perfect person. You know why? Because the bishop of the Jesus Church would have to sit there and be just what you saw him to be yesterday. A puppet and a clown. That's what he made himself yesterday. And that's my view. That he made himself a clown. That's how I feel about his behavior, because it was a very stupid thing for him to get up and say. In the midst of Ali berating people about the lack of professionalism and so on, Edgil gets up. Mr. President, there's bad blood between this engineer and the contractor. And I had to talk to them yesterday because it's bad blood, and the bad blood is affecting our project. And Ali of all people, when Ali could laugh at you and say you're stupid, in reference to how he looked at Edgil, you know that you're bad. In our Guyanese vernacular, you know you're dead bad. When Ali of all people could look at you and laugh and say what you just said doesn't make any sense. Because Ali said bad blood. So that's that. So hold on. So because it's bad blood between 2 people, the works can't go on. So engineers and contractors must be good friends in order for work to be go on in this country or progress. This was a public disgrace. Share the broadcast if you don't mind. Tag Irfaan and Edgil and all them. Yesterday was another day in which it would have been an embarrassment to the Guyanese, and worse, to be one who supports the PPP. But those who support the PPP don't have a problem with that. And I show you from the meeting why they don't have a problem. If you observe, and it confirmed yet again, if you observe the ethnic composition, you're going to be uncomfortable now. And this will like make you all uncomfortable. If you observe the ethnic composition of the room, tag Irfaan them, and let me talk to ERC right now, you would have discovered, if you observe carefully, If you observe carefully, let me fix this thing. Why is this thing falling? Okay, I'll get it. Alright, let's set this boy up properly here. Good. If you observe carefully, the ethnic composition of that room, you should have taken note of the fact. But let me ask you, what was the ethnic composition? Which ethnic group dominated in terms of the contractors? And who were the engineers? Come here, pay attention here. Because the engineers are the ones who have to go to University of Guyana and be qualified. You're with me? The contractors don't have to go anywhere. The contractors just people who they claim would bid and win the contract. But the engineers and the consultants are the people who have to be employed by the state, by us, to ensure that the contractors do what they should. So look at the ethnic composition here. Who would have been the contractors? And who are the ones who are public servants? Come here, you come man, come. Come on, let's come to the front of the class. Don't be afraid, let's talk. Because I like making you all uncomfortable when it comes to certain things. Let's see how wonderful the PPP is in reference to their. They don't discriminate. They do not discriminate, and they're so good. So let's see in that room yesterday, and then, do you hear the names of the contractors? Now, when you hear the name of the contractors and the companies, I want you to tell me, please, who would have been the contractors? They own the project, then. They're the ones who have to get the bulk of the money. Who are the engineers? And who are the consultants? The consultants and engineers are public servants. So they're not paid like the contractor. An engineer is paid by the state. He's a public servant. For the greater part. Like, remember you told Priya Marichan, you got an engineer in the Ministry of Education. So can you imagine with all these schools like President Scotty Ray, they said, Priya wants to justify building a classroom at PC for, I think it's $36 million for four walls. 4 walls, no AC. And Priya said 12 classrooms will cost $360 million, I think it is. Huh? Did you all pay attention? So the vast majority of the people in the room are East Indians, or those of East Indian ancestry. Good? They're of East Indian descent. The engineers are mainly of African descent. Is that important? It has to be important. Because to whom will the bulk of our taxpayers' money go? Let's talk truth this morning. So you'll also notice, if you didn't, that there were certain companies that Irfaan called and the contractor didn't show because Irfaan can't talk to them. We're diving off the cliff in a minute. Irfaan can't speak to certain contractors in this country. He can't dare them that publicly. Jagdier will not allow him to talk to certain people in this country. If you don't know, now you know. He is not allowed to humiliate certain contractors in Guyana. He can't even try it. And I'll tell you why. You see, if those people who stood there yesterday I told you all the truth. Huh? Ali would have had instant diarrhea. issue that was being discussed. See, brick flying off of this truck in front of me here, all over the road. The issue that was being discussed would have been the significant delays in projects. 4 months pass, at least 4 months, and on and up. People can't finish the work. So at least they bring them to me. And we're going to deal with them publicly because they're supposed to finish the work. Right? Oh! What's this? If the people had stood there and said, listen, I'm no contractor. I am no technically sound person. Somebody told me to just form a company or register a company, get my compliance from GRA, get my compliance from National Insurance, and they give me, or I would bid for the contract, but really it's one of the minister's contract or one of somebody's friend. You're uncomfortable now. If those people had stood there and said, like one lady, she stood there, you know she knew nothing about construction. She didn't even know about who an engineer is. She had, which means she doesn't even go to the site. Because that's not her place. Her job is just to put her name out there and give the company a fancy name. It's all then, look, I have a company. They get the road. If it's $50 million for the road, they get a $3 million or $10 million. And oh, the $40 million would have to be divided between or among the road being done, the engineer getting some money, the minister getting, of course, his or her cut, those who, depending on which ministry it is. The PS got to get something, depending on which ministry it is, and reports that are coming in. Of course, the big roads, the big boys that the PPP have to get, they're in charge. So you have to be behind, because when you have mobilization for the procurement being paid for you to start the work, you have to pay them first. So if you're paying out of the procurement money, you're paying those who have to get their hands buttered with money, with the funds. How can you start the work, or how can the work be effective when you run out of money before you even start? If they had sort of told Irfaan what he knows to be the truth, but he knows the Guyanese are not, the Guyanese are too scared, to be honest. Y'all are too scared. Those who were in the meeting, they couldn't get up and tell the truth. Why were you all in trouble? Because people have to spend contract money bribing persons. Since you're not any contractor in need, all you do is register a company. Because if I'm a minister in government, I can't put my name there to register a company. So you remember Jagger there to somebody the other day? I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm talking what the PP dealt with the other day. And there's only one. Irfaan yesterday found out one engineer is bidding for 2 companies. He's an engineer, I think it is. And he's bidding, he's representing 2 companies' interest. It's not hearsay, that's what they said at the meeting. How could the work be done if people are just about being paid? This is not about having work done properly in Guyana. It's about how much money can we all make as quickly as possible. That's what we're dealing with here. Can you all hear me clearly, Seb? I said I'm driving so this much I can do with my hands. Neither can I read the screen, so just glance every so often. You have to appreciate the fact, the truth, that if people had stood in that room and said, Irfaan or Mr. President, you know the deal. So don't let's have this sham party going on with you. Let's not have this gimmick and this circus you want to behave with. You know that when contracts are given, people got to get paid first, or we never get another contract. Let the PPP tell you all. Let the PPP tell you, please, how could their ministers, within 3 years, build the houses they have, houses, plural, build and have the equipment they have condos and townhouses. Let them tell y'all how with the minister salary they have, they could own so much in such a short period of time. Come and talk, man. Let them tell you how it works. Because Edge knows how it works. I think he should know how it works, I should say. How you a contractor, you don't even know who the engineer is in reference to what the engineer or what the engineer is supposed to be doing on your site. Huh? You contracting, you haven't even walked 2 feet with the engineer to know what's supposed to happen on the job site. Because all that happens is you find some people, they register a company, and they have to get paid for the registration. That's the business. Now, that's the thing. The part that provokes me, because if you want to give somebody money on the side, that's your business. As bad as it, but however, what provokes me and what irks me is when these unconscionable creatures will say they must be paid for the procurement, from the mobilization funds. Now, when you take that money from somebody, you've killed the contract immediately. That's it. Because the person cannot mobilize equipment. They can't mobilize workers, they can't mobilize to get materials and so on. They can do nothing. And then you'll wonder, why, how is it possible that this road here, according to what's published, supposed to cost $10 or $40 million, but the road break up in 2 weeks or 1 week or 3 days because they can't buy enough concrete, they can't buy enough asphalt since money went to mobilization. Since mobilization funds have to pay off the contractor, pay off, not the contractor, the engineer, pay the minister responsible, pay the PS, pay somebody else, pay some, and you have to pay so many people, your 20 or 30% of your contract, that you have nothing left to do the work properly. That's what Irfaan refused to address yesterday, in all honesty. So this clown show you had yesterday, Irfaan, doesn't impress anybody. Maybe impress you. But you and I know exactly what happens in this country. And you, those involved, and I know what happened in this country. And many others know. And that's why you can't give me a contract, because I'm not going to pay any money out. The money be used for the work it was given for. So for which it was given. But no! Can you imagine that there are people who are employed by the state to deal with our funds and they don't have a clue? They have no idea whatsoever about handling the public's business. But they do not tell you that's not for Guyana. Huh? If Priya has the mentality, Priya of all people, well, I can't put it beyond Priya, but Priya has the nerve to make teachers procurement officers. I told you that is the most insane thing I've ever heard of. Where teachers in the public school become procurement officers. They go and buy or procure items, get items for the school. When the Regional Democratic Office Council has a procurement officer paid by us. They understand the Procurement Act. There's a law, there's an act in Guyana. There's an act of law called the Public Procurement Act, where you have to do certain things when it comes to buying anything on behalf of the state. And Priya Manichan got teachers doing a crap, and teachers doing it. And the GTU never said there's no way you can make a teacher functional procurement officer. No. So now you know what I'm saying with them? They have to pay from their salaries. If you don't know what happened, I told you what happened to them. Teachers in Guyana have to pay from their money, from their pocket. Because they can't provide receipts. They can't name 3 vendors that would have bid or they would have consulted for any costing. They just went and sold source. I called people bought the helicopter. One person, give me the money, let me go. Two of them took one car, and the taxi driver got two payments. So how is it the fair market price for taxi is, let's say, $6,000 to Georgetown, but you want 12. Priya did that. Priya is doing that now as I speak. So when Irfaan got up and when Irfaan dealt with her yesterday, it was fun to me. But the truth about what happens is that the people in this country who have made public works a business, a personal business, because that is how you get your money. Where people, individuals, know the system. And it's now a big business in this country. So roadworks cannot go on. Bridges cannot be built the way they should be built. Because individuals have to be paid. That's Guyana's reality. When you have Ejil, who has got Ejil's qualification is in, what do you call the thing? I don't have any. Theology. I am in no way certified to preach according to man's standard, and I love it. I've never been to Bible school, seminary, or cemetery. Never. Because men don't certify me when it comes to preaching. Ejil has got qualifications as a chaplain and some bishop something, and he graduates from some seminary school and this and that. Ejil is in no way qualified. No way certified to deal with works and engineering. And look at who they put. With the biggest budget ever in our country's history. Look at who they put. With the most money going to infrastructure. Because I'm telling you, that's where the thievery comes in. Look at who they have. This is a disgrace. This is an embarrassment. There are numerous people in public office who have got construction companies formed. There are those even in the opposition who have construction companies formed because of this business. It's a business. It's lucrative now. So that's why certain people in the opposition can't talk. Now come forward and tell me that I'm lying, please. And what I heard wasn't true. Because once you're Irfaan's body, it seems you have a right to get certain things and certain contracts. Gone are the days where you have to be qualified for anything in this country when it comes to contracts, man. You just have to know somebody, and you get what you get what you need. Make a few phone calls, make the promises you have to make, cut the deals you have to cut, and you get what you need. Now, Irfaan Ali, the individual who should have been dealing with this matter is one Ejil. It's like you lost. You don't know that. The fact that you, as the one who's paid to be the executive president of this country, would have to meet with those people at 5:30 in the morning and put Ejil in the front bench and deal with him publicly, tells me you're an absolute failure. You're a colossal failure, you. And it's known. The fact that you've got so many of your officials lined off and they all dealt with for the same thing, it tells me a lot about you, Irfaan. But you don't realize that yet, because I told you how we're going to embarrass you publicly when you know you're being embarrassed. So you did it for yourself. Why do you think Jagger wasn't there yesterday with you? Well, let's go to that. So when Irfaan would have occupied the airwaves, and the media circles, I should say, because you don't have airwaves a lot with radios now. When Irfaan took up the megabytes and got y'all all over the place whole day with Irfaan, Mike Pompeo was in Guyana. And Pompeo is known to be an apologist and one who works with the PPP. former U.S. Secretary of State who came here and got rid of Granger. That's what he did. Pompeo is another absolute disgrace when it comes to U.S. politics. Lobbyist for Mercury? No Pompeo, if you don't know. And because of his serving in such a significant position as Secretary of State, Pompeo has got connections, if you don't know. So though Trump isn't using Pompeo right now in reference to his function in any significant role in government, Pompeo still knows people who are there. So while Irfaan was using that meeting there to attract all the nation's attention, Mike Pompeo is in Guyana. Y'all pay attention, please. Pompeo was here on a private visit, quote unquote. Do y'all remember when a certain U.S. U.S. ambassador was leaving here? He left here and suddenly returned being vice president of a gold mining company in Guyana. Do you remember that? Have you recalled that the USA had an ambassador here who should not have any business interest in this country? But once he left office, went to the US for a while, he returned as a vice president of one of the largest gold mining companies in Guyana. Now he's not going to be paid less than he was as an ambassador. Just know that. Now, that was before they discovered or they spoke to oil being discovered. Since then, they've begun to mine oil in large proportions, or extract oil, I should say. So when you pump in all this oil and you earn $60 billion a day, Guyana dollars a day, oh, you can surely afford Pompeo. He can surely go and lobby a whole lot for the PPP. Because if ever the PPP needed Pompeo, is now. You thought they needed him at Granger, they need him badly right now. Because since Pompeo would have left and kicked out Granger and all that, the U.S. Department of Treasury would have been investigating, and they would have found out that government officials are corrupt. Not a person is corrupt, not Mamie Thomas alone. They discovered that government officials are corrupt. How corrupt are they? Do you know? Didn't you see the other day that it was published that May is, I think by Gordon Mosley, May is still receiving her salary. May, who the U.S. would have sanctioned. So Mohammed business could close. In reference is can be like meeting by Bank of Guyana, but May could still receive her salary. And you all okay with that? No. I speak to what is right. When I speak about Mohammed, I speak about what is right and what is wrong. I'm asking in reference to principle. It's okay for Mohammed to be sanctioned, and it's right away the Bank of Guyana took his Cambio license. But May, according to the report I read, could still be receiving her benefits and salaries. Oh, that's okay? I want you all to tell me if that's fine by y'all in Guyana, man. Is that something that's acceptable in Guyana? Jack Dio hasn't got any evidence, because if he asks us for evidence, it means that when you have the evidence, you'll act. So in the absence of evidence in your hand, you could take away the man's license. Shut his business down. Or you can't go to JMRSC and race because they have to run to a privately run race organization. Autonomous. Guyana Motor Racing, they can't associate with Mohammed anymore because the U.S. sanctioned him, so he can't race car in Guyana. Look at what Guyana has become. And there's no evidence in the hand of the PPP, by the way, according to what they've said. But they could do all of that to those people. But May could still receive, according to the news report, and if it's wrong, she should have refuted that by now. And I saw nobody from Rosenbent's office or Ministry of Finance refuting that she is receiving salaries and benefits still. Y'all have no shame, none. So So when you believe Irfan's meeting was poorly timed, no. Irfaan had to have the meeting at a time of day so his master puppeteer could have his meeting later on. And you would be so distracted and consumed by that we don't ask the pertinent questions as to what does a former U.S. Secretary of State have to do with Guyana now? Why is he here? We don't have time for those questions. Because our focus would be on how Irfaan treated the contractors, and how Irfaan treated Priya, and how Irfaan treated Ejil, and how Irfaan would have treated with the boy who couldn't even answer about a letter, a commencement to work letter. And that I will speak to before I leave. It is frightening to know that in Guyana, South America, with hundreds of billions of dollars being spent on infrastructural works, it's frightening to know that in Guyana, people don't know from the Ministry of Works or wherever you all come from, that and contractors don't know either, that you are not supposed to start any work for the state, which would be the people, unless you have an order to do so. What the hell? You telling me that in 2024, according to Pope Gregory's calendar, people don't know that you're not supposed to start a work in this country unless you have an order to do so? But y'all hands so itching for this money here. You want money so badly that you can't even wait for due process to take its course. So you telling me contractors in Guyana could start building a road and they have no order in writing to do so? What is wait, man? I must be living in Jupiter Baghdad somewhere. This cannot be for real. This is impossible. Y'all can't be for real. You cannot be for real. You have no OTP, which is order to proceed. You have no order to start working. None. But you start building a bridge and a road? How can you be managing my money, Mr. PS, or whoever you all are, and Madam PS, Permanent Secretary? How can you be responsible for something so significant as a 1.5 or $500 billion road, a $1 million road, or $1.5 billion road work? And you don't know that no contractor is supposed to start working in Guyana for the government of Guyana, if you all want to call it, unless he has an order to do so? Man, y'all have to be kidding me. You have to be joking. So how did he receive mobilization fund? How did the person receive procurement money if they have no order to proceed with the work? I need to know that. And the General needs to tell us all that, how that's possible. And Ali needs to tell us how that's possible. How could you receive money from the state to do something for which you have no order? This PPP administration must have the world record when it comes to the level of corruption. I don't think there's anybody else, even in Equatorial Guinea, who could be as corrupt as this PPP, this cabal you have right here. This plan right here, y'all are the most corrupt of all people I know. Your corruption has no limit. You're never satisfied when it comes to being corrupt. How do you have a contractor working somewhere, building a school, for example, and he has no order to build a school? You people are a set of mad people, that's what I think you are. Oh, but no, you see Priya and King and them boys signed a contract. Oh, let's start building the school. Money must start flowing. And they get instruction, pay this man, get a man that. You know why? I think you know why, right? Yep. In so many ministries, the minister himself or herself will call people, pay that man his money. I know I'm telling you about. Regional Democratic Council, the regional executive officer, they get on the phone, pay that man his money. When a head teacher says this school is not finished, this work is improperly done, I'm not going to sign off on the document to say that the work is finished, she get a phone call, sign the document, because the engineer has to have his cut, the minister or the Redo or Rexo has to have his cut or her cut. In some regions, the chairman has to have his cut. In some cases, the minister has to have his cut or the PS. So y'all ain't gonna humbug my pay. Pay the man his money. That's what we're dealing with in this country. So you don't need any order to proceed or notice to proceed. An NTP is called in the US. You don't need that in Guyana. In Guyana, all you need is sign the contract and ensure that you're loyal to the minister, to the PS, to the engineer, the consultant. Ensure you're loyal enough to pay up front. You're not going to humbug this business here. So pay up front. You don't need any notice to proceed because the money can't wait on any notice letter, any notice to proceed letter. We don't have time for all of that. Because after all, is the minister cousin. Oh, let me choke some of y'all life out of you this morning. Is the minister's cousin, who is the front person for this contract as a contractor, is the minister's cousin friend, who is the contractor. But the minister has the money and the equipment. So he registered the company. I can't find him out of the sky now. I don't want to call him for upset y'all. Harpy Eagle Construction. I hope there's none like in Guyana. Harpy Eagle or Jumbie Board Construction Company. Who owns it? Minister X in the PPP. Or opposition member Y in the PNC. They own it now. But whose name is there as a contractor? White Pudding Myrtle. So the minister's name or the member of parliament name is nowhere to be seen. Aha. So when the contract is when you have to bid now, you call your boy. Yo, and you know who you call, right? You call the same man. Listen, man. I get me, sorry people in the US, I will speak a Guyanese, please. I ain't talking for you all this morning. I get me thing in there. The thing, or he call you, hey, the thing ready? Yeah. Everything set. Because he knows, that same big boy knows, that he has this 15%. So if the contract is $1 billion, $100 million, $105 million, or $50 million belongs to somebody. Take note. Because some of the big boys get 15%, and you little fries at the bottom there, you divide the $50 million out of the 20%. You take the $50 million and divide it among y'all. But the big kahuna, he would get $150 million up front. Not even a screw was turned, not even a nail was driven, but he get his money up front. And to hell with y'all after that. The road can't start, it doesn't my problem. I get my pay. And among the engineer, the consultant, the cousin who, yeah. So you got a minister in government whose sons, as a matter of fact, are contractors. Y'all all right? Is everybody okay? You have a PPP minister whose son or sons are contractors. Why Irfaan didn't talk about that yesterday? Irfaan Ali, why did you not yesterday say, how do we have a minister? You, Mr. Man, how are your sons contracting in business with the government if you are a minister? Did you hear Irfaan? Now, I can't stand Irfaan talking for long because it's just a joke for me. But those of y'all who listen to the whole speech, did you hear Irfaan chastising that minister? Huh? Did you hear Irfaan telling that minister, how the hell, because Irfaan wasn't holding any punch with y'all yesterday. Did you hear Irfaan telling that minister yesterday, how the hell you could have your son Or your family, your immediate family member bidding for contracts here. Did you hear Irfaan say that? Oh, so that's not a problem, is it? Oh. And if that happens, and it would be in court to say there's nothing that prohibits, you know, there's nothing that prohibits that man from having a contract. You can't do that, you know, we have to, because you always got something, you got to sign this issue. Huh? Oh. So certain names could not have been called yesterday. But others could have got the brunt of Irfaan. But some other people, you can't touch them. And we all need to ask ourselves why. Who owns these companies? As I say again, the company is owned by a minister. But the minister's friend or cousin or somebody else claims that they own the company. That company gets the contract because ministers can already call and say, listen, you see this name here? This contract has to go through. That company gets preferential treatment because the money is going to be spread all across the way. And those who are beneficiaries will receive their portion. And whatever becomes of that road, to hell with you. It could develop potholes in 2 days. I don't care. Because we got our money. Fix that whenever you're ready to fix it. And more than that, we'll give the contractor more money to fix it. Because remember, we know who owns the company. Should the PPP be removed from office? Note what I've said. Because the US is playing with y'all. The US has no time and no free election in Guyana anymore. Free and fair election. The PPP would either be removed from office or they shall remain in office. They will not lose an election. Trump is the god for regime change. Trump ain't got conscience. You see what he did to Granger? Donald Trump is known for punishing Granger because Granger refused to support regime change in Latin America. Just know that. So Trump is known for removing people from office. And I'm telling you that if the PPP, if you aren't careful, Trump will ensure he removes you from office. Remove you, get you out of there. Because he knows that you are in cahoots with Chinese people. And Trump and China don't influence. Remember me talk about the Chinese virus? Remember Trump called it the Chinese virus? Good. The Trump, they're not friends with Trump. But you all are in bed with them. Toes and arms and everything lock up in bed with these people. So Trump is going to deal with you. And it's too late for some of you to distance yourself from Sue and whoever else it is who are involved in these situations here. I have asked before and I will ask again as a Guyanese who has an interest. Does Jagbio have any share in the China Railway Company's business? I need to know that as a Guyanese because if he's holding a position in public office, he can't have a road being built here, Demerara Harbour Bridge being built here, Brisbane Mackenzie Bridge being built here by the same company. China Railway building the airport, if I'm not mistaken. This same, how is it one company from China wins so many bids in Guyana? You tell me there's only one construction company in China? Now it is reported that he has shares in the company. I need to know whether it's true, and he needs to speak to that. So Thursday at his press conference, maybe he can get up and talk. Because I need to know as a Guyanese, how is it that only China Railway Company, Railway Corporation, could have contracts in Guyana? No other Chinese company can't win. No US company can win a contract in this, win a road work in Guyana, or to build a bridge. Nobody from England, nobody from Holland. No. Only China. Even no other Chinese company could really win contracts here. Only China Railway. Only one company. That in itself reeks of corruption. Because you can't tell me that only one company in China is qualified to do work in Guyana. Guyanese, you all need to demand answers from these people. So as I leave you reminding you about the embarrassment, the disgrace, and the public shame that Irfaan put himself through yesterday. Trump will drag you out. When he kicks you out, it will be unceremonious. There will be no prettiness about the next election. When Trump ready to kick you all out, he will dash you out. And I want you all to know and to take note of the truth that the PPP would have ensured that they and their relatives and everybody else are so set financially that losing an election doesn't bother them. That's why they take so much loans, so many loans. What the PPP is doing is they are ensuring that if the US kicks them out, whoever goes in there is laden and swamped with debt. The word is not debt. DEBT is pronounced as debt. English is bad language. You're so heavily indebted that you can't catch yourself. That's what they will do. And they'll ensure that the Chinese and those people take loans from, because everybody else are bothered, they'll ensure that they'll pressure you to pay back, to repay your loans now. So instead of expending money to develop Guyana, your focus has to be on how do we repay these loans. That's what the people will do. They are doing it now, and the opposition, as they're called, do not in any way seek to shut this country down and stop the nonsense. And as I said, I know why. Some of y'all don't know why. But there are people in the opposition who are enjoying contracts. Because the new word for Guyana is contract, not oil. Contract. Everything from now. Why you think so many, even the small man, the little fry in Guyana, his mind is on how can I get a contract? That's the talk. The average person in this country now, their interest is in how can I acquire a contract. You know why? Because that's where the business is at. So the small man is trickled down to him, and he knows. Because the PPP would have advised through their dogs on leashes. Listen here. Find anybody. You just find anybody and let them start a company. And you get a contract. So they've now learned the system of making money in this country. That's what's happened. And this will last, if the PP is in office, this will last for another 10 to 15 years. Just think about that. A minimum of 10 to 15 years of this will happen in this country. Take care. Do well. And Irfaan, you have done well to embarrass yourself. You have done, nobody had to help you yesterday. You took it on yourself to make, of course, a smokescreen situation become one of so great embarrassment, because Pompeo was here. And with Pompeo being here, as elections are so rapidly approaching, it has a lot to do with why he's here. And to create a smokescreen, look at what you did. What is even more disgraceful is the fact that Jack Dio met with Pompeo, not you. You don't even understand how embarrassing that is either. Look at you. You are paid to be president. And Jack Dio could talk to Pompeo because Pompeo can't talk to you. So who's really in charge again? When you have a former U.S. Secretary of State, the third most powerful person in terms of politics, I think it is. Oh man, you the president, Irfaan, and you can't talk to Pompeo. You got to be telling the contractor why Jack Dio talk to Pompeo. You in shame? You don't have an ounce of shame in you, boy. Huh? Aren't you disgraced? Bye, y'all.